Salve amici, in questo video il grande storico e scrittore Richard Dolan intervista un ex membro della CIA di 77 anni che, essendo stato colpito da una malattia terminale e sapendo quindi che sarebbe morto in poco tempo, decide di rilasciare dichiarazioni molto importanti riguardanti l'Area 51 e il presidente Eisenhower. L'identità di quest'uomo non verrà mai rivelata e non si saprà mai se alla fine morì per la sua malattia o per opera di qualcun altro.
Yes, well, as we get older and older, I'm 77 right now. Procedure I'm going to have to clean the blood doesn't work. Then I've got probably a few more months to make it before my kidneys shut down. So that's kind of why I'm kind of going along with the interview at this time.
You're seeing that what you went through is just too important for people not to know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just, can we start at the beginning with your military career and just walk through what exactly your experiences were?
Was drafted into the military and got into the U.S. Army. After that, I was sent to the Signal Training Center in eastern United States.
What year would this be?
58. I went through the Signal Training course. And at that time, I went through the radio teletype course and also the cryptography course, crypto. They had 5 instructors that were getting out of military service. So they pulled the top 5 students, and I was 3rd in the class. So I got pulled as an instructor.
Now, were you at this time also working yet for CIA?
No.
Not yet?
No. After one day, my boss came to me, and he said, how would you like to, make some extra money? And I said, oh, money is good. So he's explained to me that he could put it through. I would have to get a top secret White House Q clearance for the job, And I thought, boy, must be a pretty exclusive thing, And I said, well, what is this? And he said that I'm director for the CIA for Eastern United States. And I said, oh, I didn't know that. And he said, you weren't supposed to. After about 6 weeks, my security clearance came through, and I got my CIA card. It was an ID card, like a credit card, where I could just go up to the door and slice it, walk right in. And my name at that time, I used an artificial name too. Never used my real name. I started working with him on the project he was on. And that was Project Blue Book, which was kind of partially a fraud.
You're saying some of the Blue Book cases were
Yes.
were completely fictitious?
Yes, but the cases that we got came from, I think it was Fort Belvoir, Maryland.
Mm-hmm. Fort Belvoir?
Yeah, it didn't come from the Pentagon, or it didn't come from CIA headquarters. But we would get reports about a certain sighting that they had at Mexico or Italy or something like that. And then we had people that would follow through on it, that would go out and interview the people to see if they were nutcases or if it was real.
So they'd be going overseas frequently?
I wasn't, but I was coming into the Army fresh off the farm, So I really didn't have much knowledge of anything. But my boss filled me in on Project Blue Book and what they had found so far. As far as Greys and aliens and the Roswell incident.
How did you feel when this first got dumped on you? When you first learned about this?
I was just kind of overwhelmed with all of this, you know. And I said to him, I don't know if I'm going to be able to be a judge of this type of thing. What's real, what's not, when I don't have much knowledge of it, you know.
And then the other thing is, of course, you really weren't able to tell family or close friends, obviously.
No, I couldn't tell anybody.
You're doing all this crypto work. You're looking at images, photographs, video. It's 1958, maybe the fall of 58. What happened after this?
At that time, the Project Blue Book thing kind of went pot, you know.
They were telling the world all UFOs are misidentifications, hoaxes,
balloons,
psychological issues, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my boss came to me and he says, we've both got a new assignment. And he says, oh, I said, where are we going? Oh, he said, going to the Capitol. We're going to be part of the Eisenhower push. He's trying to find out something all about these aliens that MJ-12 was supposed to find out, but never sent back reports to him.
MJ-12, the UFO control group, were they calling it MJ-12 at that time? Yes.
They called us in, went into the Oval Office, and President Eisenhower was there and Nixon. And they said, we called the people in from MJ-12 from Area 51 and S4, but they told us that the government had no. He says, I want you to tell them, whoever is in charge, tell them that to get in, they have this coming week, to get into Washington and to report to me. And if they don't, I'm going to get the First Army from Colorado and we're going to go over, we're going to take the base over. I don't care what kind of classified material you got. We're going to rip this thing apart.
Eisenhower was going to invade Area 51.
Yeah, with the First Army.
So you go out with your superior.
Yes.
You fly out. You land. What happens? Can you describe this whole process? What you saw?
It took us the 13 or 15 miles south to S4 and like different garage door openings. And in these garage door openings, they had like different saucer crafts.
So you see the Roswell craft, and what are some of the others that you see?
Well, the Roswell craft was really strange because it looked like real heavy aluminum foil.
Could they tell what the source of power was of this craft?
Yeah, it was like a reverse gravitational thing of some kind.
How did you see that evidence?
Well, at the later on at S4, we viewed the autopsy film.
All right, right there. How did you feel at that moment?
Well, I thought, boy, we had no idea we were going to see the real thing. All we saw was film.
So what did this gray alien look like? Could you describe him a little bit?
This one looked a little bit oriental.
So I'm just wondering if it looked almost human, what about this didn't look human?
No, it didn't look human as far as the skin tone and basically the shape of it and the size.
How was its head size compared with a normal human, for He did not know at this point
No.
if there was an alien at S4.
No.
Did you go directly to Washington after this?
Yes.
Or did you go somewhere else? How did they get, did you fly regular airline or?
We flew back to the commuter plane back to the air base, and then took President Eisenhower's Lockheed Electra back to Washington.
You and your supervisor,
Yeah.
superior officer, and now you're meeting with the president?
Yes, we met with him in, the second story of the old OSS warehouse building. And Eisenhower and Nixon were there, and also Hoover was there.
I would think that Eisenhower would, I mean, he certainly knew that flying saucers were real.
Yes.
He knew that there were aliens. So I guess I'm just wondering, what would he have been, really surprised about?
Surprised about the black programs. Eisenhower said, gotta keep this thing completely secret. Can't talk about this.
Your actual name is, the name you grew up with, that was a different name than what you had in the...
I never used it in the CIA at all.
Now, what about today? You're going on the public record, and this is still sensitive information, even though earlier you talked about...
Linda Moulton Howell's phone call. Her phone was tapped, and they got my phone number, and through the telephone company, they were able to find me.
When they found you, what happened?
I was going to a grocery store. Two guys in black suits come out of a black Lincoln town car and came over to see me. And they told me that I better not publish anything or talk to Linda about any more things.
That was enough to intimidate you.
Yes. Rather remain anonymous. Never show my face on anything.
Really, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.